Hello, gentle friends, and welcome to another exciting edition of REBBL Blood Bowl. My name is Counterfeit, of course, and we are going to be heading into some action here for Division 5M. It's going to be our good friends, the Mausoleum Maniacs, up against the Under-Ratted team, headed up by Mizra. It's going to be a grand old time as these two teams, one hungry for their first taste of success, the other glutted on so much success, why they would choke it, they would. It's truly a thing of quite some awfulness. Of course, it's not the way round that you might expect, because the Mausoleum Maniacs, the Underworld team, who we'll take a quick look at here, why, they've yet to get a single win. And they've only gotten one player leveled up. That's Brittle Barry, the Goblin. Goblin? The Zombie. They're the same thing. And that means that they are very, very low team value. On the other side of the equation, the Under-Ratted up to 1150 as we will be heading into the game right now. Hey look, it's me, this guy. Let's see what these guys have got for us. I should probably do a bit like Sage and hide myself a little bit away from the action. Alright, let's bring that music down, let's bring that game sound up, and let's see what these guys have got for us here today. So, as I mentioned, the Mausoleum Maniacs, oh actually, let's switcheroo that around because they're the other way around than I'd expected. There we go. Mausoleum Maniacs with a TV of 1000 and with murder on their mind. But they've yet to level up any of their important pieces. These two werewolves denuded of anything more useful than what they started out with, which of course isn't too little. It is Claw, it is Frenzy, it's a good old time, but no block means they're not the most reliable. Same for the Flesh Golems, though Trevor the Titan did pick up an MVP. They are also just pretty much stuck with what they came with. For the Whites, the same story as well. Sir Ryan the Rotted and Sir Charles, both just with that starting block. So it's honestly not a great start here for Necromantic team. Over on the other side, as the first kickoff is fairly uneventful, the Underworld team are dramatically more developed with, I'm going to just guess on how to say some of these names, Patchzer, with plus strength, and with a plus mighty blow, Skaven Blitzer, fit for Makata. Now, the Underworld team, of course, as you might expect, they don't have very good armor. Oh, but at least they don't roll double skulls on their very first dice roll of the game. Eesh. Alright, that's Frankie Flesh Ripper looking to make some injuries here. And not a bad way to start. Give him the old slap. And Whatmutt is knocked down. So, with only 2 block on the team, which are on the Whites right now, it's going to be a little bit tricky to try and get hold of any successful hits on these goblins. Of course, the rest of the Skaven, they are very low armor. The Linemen, armor 7. The Throwers, armor 7. Only the Blitzers get up to armor 8. And of course, the Troll, who breaks through any and all expectations. Let's see. So we're getting the passed around. I would like to have seen both of these Whites getting in the first round hits. Because, as I said, they've got block, they've got twice the chance of knocking over a Goblin, and they really need that SPP. Instead, the Goblin's going to be passed back to their own lines, which is odd. I would have preferred to see Mystic trying to force out a dodge at least, because while Goblins, they've got the stunting, they've got the dodge, they've got every tool they need, apart from a high agility. If you ever coached Amazons, you'll know that agility 3 and dodge isn't a guarantee by a long way. It's hugely less effective than it would be if you were an elf. Alright, then we get the Blitz. It's going to be onto a Lineman. I would prefer to see it onto a Goblin because of the whole stunty thing. But hey, there we go. Broken armor straight away. It looks to be like we're going to be seeing some werewolf ball carriers. It would make sense to be picked up by these 2 ghouls. So, one of the things coming into this one is that Mystic does not... excuse me. Mystic does not find themselves overburdened with money. So, they've been spending all the money that they have been able to get from their multiple losses so far on getting these two ghouls in who are going to be carrying the ball to allow for the werewolves to start running around the pitch and slapping things. It's a little awkward in this game because, again, the werewolves don't have block. If they did, they would be very, very good at taking out goblins. As it is, they have to rely on getting defender downs, which is okay. I have to think the priority here has got to be getting your werewolves leveled up, and at the moment they're going to sort of sit in the cage. I'm fully expecting these wolves to get the ball handed off to one of them so they can score with their ludicrously high movement 8. But for now, they're just going to sit around and form a cage, not particularly effective cage pieces. Of course, we've got the 2 flash columns in the centre. So far, Misra has won every single game that they've played, and I've been trying to figure out exactly what they've been doing, because the Underworld team is certainly not supposed to be terribly strong. So Flap Stench is going to do a pretty good job of holding the line, though unless they get some more assistance coming in, I think they will, yes, there we go, they may well get overwhelmed by numbers. The Flesh Golems with their stand firm are very unlikely to ever get pushed out of the way, and I don't think the Underworld team are even going to really try. I think the most likely thing is they might well keep them marked with goblins, because goblins are pretty hard to put down at the best of times. So what has Misra got going for them, which has led them to this position right now where they are in one of the top teams in Division 5M? Well, they seem to know how to play their team pretty damn well. They're going to go after certain round the rosters here, so unfortunately, as a piece with blocks, they're one of only 2 on the team for the Drunk Mystic. That's worked out pretty well, though of course we did see the reroll burn earlier, so we've got Bloodwiser Babes, and I think that's, I don't even know what that one's called. So that's a Necromancer, that's the Bloodwiser Babe, for extra KO results, and I think that's a fan advantage modifier event, possibly? Yeah. So if Mystic wins here, and this will be their very first win of the season if they do, then they should be getting a little bit more money, which I think they really need, because as we've seen already, rerolls and them do not seem to be friends. So let's look towards the next turn as the Skaven, well, say Skaven, the Underworld team setting up here. Nice move there of Ard Guts to make it sure that it's going to be trickier to get enough assists to knock over Flap Stench the Troll. We do end the turn though with Trevor the Titan in base contact with a couple of goblins, so he's going to get a free hit in there. Everyone else though is relatively spaced out. We've got enough room to move up the side. Anywhere away from the troll is probably going to be to the Necromantic team's advantage. I don't know, given that we've got 4 players with block on the Underratted team, I think even blocking is going to be a little bit tricky, but I think the Necromantic team can very much establish some dominance over the centres. There we go, there's a free hit onto our guts. They'll be sent packing, and it does mean that Trevor gets to stand next to the troll. So I think it's quite possible bring in what, a couple of assists, and yeah, you're looking at a 2 dice block, probably with Rabid Ronnie, I'd imagine. Maybe not, actually. I think you might go. I mean, if you're Mystic, you're looking to score or get injuries with each of your werewolves here. So I think Rabid Ronnie makes sense. They've already got a little bit of SVP for a previous injury, whereas you can give the ball to Max Howler to actually score it. So there we go. We've got the setup there. This Frenzy isn't going to be great. Oh no, that's right. You can Frenzy push them back into your Flesh Column and just stand firm. And that way, I believe you still get to get a second hit in. Alright. So, we're going to see a little bit of caution. Not being thrown to the wind by the Mausoleum Maniacs as they push everything back, making sure that ball carrier Mungrel stays safe. I'm kind of curious what the Underworld are going for here. Right now it feels like they're just trying to, trying to score. Trying to stall, not score. But once that troll goes down, then the disparity between the 2 teams as far as strength, I think will really come to the fore. Alright, so there should be 2 hits here. Not going to need it. Could be sent back into a Goblin or into Trevor the Titan if you want to keep things safe. I think probably either's fine. Not an injury. And that was a 7, needed an 8. So Mighty Blow would have caused that one to be an injury. I think you probably send up Rabid Ronnie around the side here. As, oh wow, okay. Not messing around. Flap Stench going to get KO. That's not a send-off Nice move there. Oh wait, no, it is a send-off. I must have misread the dice. There we go. The injury roll was a doubles. Interesting. I didn't realise that... I haven't done enough fouling, but I didn't realise you... Is it just on the arm, or is it on the injury, or is it both? In which case, that makes fouling a little bit more risky than I thought it was. Okay, so with the troll removed for Mizra, I think it's a very sensible move on Mystic's part. That's a ton of team value swept away in just an instant. So let's adjust team values, and yes, down to 1040 as a result of that last one. That is a huge drop. So 110 team value. Notably, not actually the highest team value player on the team. That's going to be Patched here, who is strength 4. So getting that extra strength up has obviously, as you'd expect, massively inflated their team value and makes them a prime target. For now, we're going to see another attempted hit on Ron and the Rotten, and it's again going to be unsuccessful because of block on both people. Fit for Mikado could go for a reroll here, but no. Just pushes back. Given how this has started, I don't see it going very well for Mizra here. They've spent 2 turns trying to knock down the block player and have not been able to do so. And now they've just got a bunch of goblins and basic Skaven to try and stand back with. Oh, wow. Okay, Odd Guts makes a 1 dice block. Does not go well. Alright. So with Frenzy, that to an extent, you can start looking at potentially going in and hitting goblins. Again, because goblins are just little sacks of joy. Sacks of free SPP at least. And that should put them, excuse me, put you into a good position to try and knock them down, get some injuries, get some SPP, and let's see what happens. There's the first clonk onto Striamute Squeek. No armor break, but still, I kind of feel like short of an absolute disaster here for the Necromantic team, that things are going to go probably pretty well. So we've got the opportunity to go after the Skaven lineman here if you want to, though this was a wrestle lineman, which I guess isn't that bad if you don't have block, because you can easily end up in a situation where... okay, that's a little bit odd. That's going to mean that a frenzy push will... Oh no, if you go from here I suppose it's fine. So if you go up, yep, and across, I think we might be looking for a pitch surf, maybe? Okay, there we go. There's a hit. Ronnie will not get an injury caused, but of course, there's no such thing on the Underworld team as Frenzy to allow them for a push out. So the Underworld team, it's a little awkward here for them to try and advance the ball up. I mean, having Snarl there is not exactly a massive threat by any means, but we've got the ability to punch, you know, make a 1 dice block to create some space here. I mean, this is kind of what I more would have expected from an Underworld game, is that they would run into trouble pretty much straight away against a team that had superior bashing prowess. I mean, I personally got in my bear for my Kislev team to basically do the same function that the Troll did here for Mizra, which is just to take a few hits to start with and then hopefully survive long enough to make a significant difference. Ooh, I'm not a big fan of that. Rabid Ronnie, the werewolf, being put next to the mighty blow Blitzer on Mizra's squad, giving them a chance to bring some assists in and make a 2 dice block on the werewolf. Okay, so Max Howler, presumably. Wait, what? You are putting the ball carrier next to a downed opposing player? Maybe the movement's not quite done? Ugh, Mystic, you are taking some risks here. I mean, fair enough. The chances of actually getting the ball carrier successfully blitzed at this point are pretty much 0. But I'm still not a huge fan. Fortunately, the ghouls and the werewolves are very high movement, so they can easily get out in front and form a cover there. I mean, Snarl, I certainly would be thinking about the possibility of going for a 2 red dice block against a player like Mungrel who's just got dodge. You might be able to pull off. I mean, we've got a lot of block players here, so we're going to be probably bringing up a lot of this, which is no longer useful on the right-hand side, up to try and maybe get in the way. Certainly, the first thing I expect to do is see this werewolf get mighty blowed. So all you need to do at that point is get this player up, bring across anyone to assist, and it's 2 dice against. And then more fouling. I like it. So Squeek, Striamute Squeek is stunned. And I've got to remember to... no, that's still okay. So who's got sent off so far? It's Dim-Witted Dennis and Gutless Gary. Excellent. Dennis, Gutless Gary, so that's a dirty player. So 2 sent off so far. Let's see what's next. So that did result in a stun, and that was that was a stun. That was a foul on a lineman. Oi. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that for sure. I'm a big fan of fouling generally. I think it's a very useful tactical move, and people should use it more. But anyway. So we're going to get that 2 dice block on to Rabid Ronnie, as mentioned before. That does mean that it's a little harder to do because of Squeek getting stunned there means that they're no longer able to stand up and cancel out the assists. As it's actually going to be a blown... Oh no, what? Oh, of course, it's this plus strength. Werewolf. Sorry, plus strength Blitzer is going to make the 2 dice onto Max Howler. Oh, and also provide the assist. Very clever, very clever. Okay. Yeah, I think that we could end up with a swamping here of the ghoul. So that's pretty good for Mizra. So let's see. So we've got... Oh wait, no, that doesn't provide the assist. Let's see. So we've still got a 1 dice block here that we could easily bring up any of these goblins to equalize the numbers. And then the rest of them, I assume, would go around to physically block the path of advancement for Mungrel. There we go. So that makes sense. There's no dice being rolled there, so we might as well make it happen. At this point, I would have much preferred to see a foul used on a werewolf. But, either way. I mean, strategically speaking, I suppose it did make sense for Mystic to try and take out Squeek there, though. I don't believe... They've got 1 spare zombie, so they will be down. Alright, here we go. So we can do a chain push here, but we're not going to get to, as Rabid Ronnie is KO'd, and they are out of there. That's a chunk of SPP. That's SPP, what I'm talking about. A chunk of team value off the pitch. Immediately drops the Mystics team to 880 team value because they're such a top-loaded team. Alright, just making sure everything's working as it should. Okay, so pretty much as expected, the Underworld are forming themselves a nice little line here. It's going to be quite hard to get past. Though there's a lot of Necromantic players here able to do exactly what they're doing now, which is just make with the clobbering. I think it's going to be relatively easy to try and clear out this space here, though I think they were hoping for a defender down to allow for an easy block. I think maybe Max Howler gets up here and maybe with a... Let's see. I think you need to probably clear a space back this way. There's tons of turns left for Mystic to try and score with. So let's see what happens. Alright. We've got another push. Not ideal. So you're not going to get past this Blitzer, probably. Strength 4 and block is a nasty combination, pretty much making themselves into a discount Chaos Warrior. Expect to see big things from them in their future. Probably Mighty Blow and Guard. But of course, they can get Claw quite easily as well. There's no real downside to these guys apart from just having to play Underworld. So, probably going to be seeing a dodge here with the setups that the Underworld team have got. It's going to be pretty tricky to get a successful hit off. I think Mystic's going to be a bit disappointed by how the dice have played out this time. They've only gotten pushes. They were probably hoping A lot of their strategy, I suspect, was hoping on some actual knockdowns, but you haven't got block. And they do. So, it's always going to be a bit eesh trying to go after these hits. So, Mystic going deep into the tank with 2 minutes 40 left and to make those decisions. I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like maybe there was going to be a, let's see. I felt like Max Howler was probably going to go and try and blitz a goblin, but the problem is that this is an unmarked goblin up here, so if they did that, it would turn into a 1 dice block later on. We've also got the REBBL lineman who's hanging out just down there, you know, just chilling next to the ball carrier. I think the Flesh Golem Frankie's got to make a move around though. 1, 2, 3, 4 is not great. Probably going to end up here, if anywhere. I don't see them really moving too much further. Movement 4 is a hell of a drag. But yeah, Flesh Golems, extremely good players. I mean, it's going to make for a pretty decent matchup into the Blitzer. Okay, for a second I was a little bit worried that we might be having some technical issue there, but okay, so moving up and marking Thea, the Skaven Thrower, who's got block as well on their first level, suggests that there's a plan to blitz them. Though why that would be the case, I'm not clear, because that's not going to probably end well for Nasher, unless Thea is somehow pushed away or dealt with in some fashion. Could we be seeing a standing up of Max Howler and then dodging away blitz, and then maybe run through? It feels like an unnecessarily desperate tactic if that is the case. When you could quite easily just go around the outside. It's the kind of thing I might get more behind if you weren't doing it with the ball carrier. So that if anything does go wrong, then you've not only lost your turn, but you've also lost the ball control as well, right next to a Skaven Thrower. And that's not the best way to spend your time. Ugh. Okay, I'm not really sure what Mystic's going for here. They've certainly been thinking about this a long time, but they've not used their blitz at all. Which I thought might come out here, even though it wouldn't really accomplish a huge amount. It would at least get a werewolf into a decent position with a bunch of goblins. Though it would also isolate that werewolf from the rest of the team, probably leading to them getting gang fouled, which is not really what you want. So what is going to happen here? Do you just run out Mungrel from the back and maybe... I don't even know. Sir Charles the... Oh, maybe... Oh, that's it. Okay, I think... Wait, no, that doesn't work. I thought... Okay, so Sir Charles the Cursed is going to come in and make a 1 dice block onto the goblin. Alright. Not great. So there are a bunch of Underworld players. What? Okay. So where we're left is that we've got a free 1 dice block on the ball carrier with block. We've got a wrestle player who can go and do the same sort of thing as well. I thought we might see our guts running around here to try and make those a little bit better, but okay. So that's Sir Charles the Cursed put down. With Mighty Blow, but no hits, so that cancels out the assist from Max Howler. And so Mungrel is probably going to be in a lot of trouble. I do not know why they weren't dodged away. This feels unnecessarily risky. Especially because there's a decent chance to get knocked off the pitch now. Alright, well, never mind. They're just going to get punched in the face instead. So, the hit to the no regeneration... Well, Mungrel never got any SVP, and then they died. So, one of the biggest downsides, of course, of the Necromantic team is you are running players with armor value 7, no regeneration, and no apothecary. Meaning they are extremely fragile, and as we saw there, very easy to murder. Fortunately, for Mystic at least, Minsrud hasn't got an undead team to be able to turn that into a free zombie or similar. Or even a Nurgle team, I suppose. But the ball ended up bouncing to pretty much the best place it could have for Mystic. But Mizra's now in a position to scooch in, get rid of the other ghoul as well. There we go. I don't feel like they're gonna die. I think that'd be a bit much. We'll see though. No, they're fine. But they are at least out for the time being. So that's the other ghoul, who will be Nasha. So just in the reserves for now. But that puts the active team value down to 740 against 1,110. No, 1040. I do apologize. Wait, did I get this the right way around? I think probably not. Yes, I'm totally getting the wrong way around. Okay, it's because I got it listed a different way on my screen. So let me correct that. 740. 740 team value for the Necromantic team. 1040 for Mizra's Underworlds. Alright, so what happens next? We are over to the Mausoleum Maniacs once again. They have lost both of their ghouls, one in a more permanent fashion than the other. But they still have the capacity to pick up the ball. They've still got a reroll. They are knocking over some goblins, but nothing too major. Okay, Squeek gonna get taken out in two different ways. So the Brittleberry, the zombie. Oh, I thought I got sent off. Wait, who did get sent off then? Dim-witted Dennis and Gutless Gary. Okay, let me correct my records then. Okay, well that's a small advantage for Mystic, in that they've got their dirty player up and live. So right now the Underworld team really reduced to their two blitzers, in terms 2 blitzers and 2 throwers. At least I think they've got 2 throwers, right? Ooh, that's not going to help. Interesting, no follow-up there. Let's see. So, oh, it is the Creek the Thrower got KO'd, and maybe I didn't notice? Yes, I did not notice. Okay, there you go. KO'd, and the Troll is also KO'd. Okay, let's update our scores. So 950 against 760. Alright, so next on the menu for Mystic is trying to get hold of that darned ball. Which isn't the easiest thing, because as we see here, you've got to dodge away with your werewolf. That's going to eat your only remaining reroll. Pick up the ball. Okay, that at least worked. Now where do you go with it is my question. Do you go and put it next to the Mighty Blow player again? Surely not. If you put it over here though, it's not protected. If you put it up here, well that's also in enemy territory, so... This is not a great setup. I think even if you go here, you're setting yourselves up for a 2-dice block. Okay, just gonna go on the other side. Wow, that movement on the werewolf is crazy. But let's see. So we've got a 1 going for it to get base to base. Then if we do a 1-dice block there, then 2 going for it gets you a blitz. Let's see. So we can get 2 dice onto this guy and probably knock him over. Instantly 2. Oh, you could instantly 2 dice this one, which might not be a bad idea. Thinking of ways to try and get these block pieces free. So there's a lot of Underworld incidental players just kind of lying around, not doing anything at the moment. I think we're going to see those quickly redeployed. So okay, so that's going to be freeing up. We've got to see a blitz on the ball carrier, surely. Otherwise, this is a guaranteed score for Mystic's team. And with them out there, I believe the term is potatoed, to put your player out undefended. Oh, interesting. Okay, so there's our hit. Alright. So you can probably put 2 goblins onto... There we go, that's the first going for it, and it's a 6. Oh wow, just going for a straight dodge, huh? Alright. Extremely unlikely it doesn't go through successfully. Clonked. There is a reroll, so Cutter could easily pick the ball up here. So the big problem for this for the Necromantic team is they've now gotten the ball pretty far away from anyone else who's likely to be able to help them get it back. I mean, you've got Sir Charles, who's going to barely be able to make it there if you're willing to dodge with Agility 3. You've got a bunch of Flesh Golems who are miles from the ball. Oh, I say that. They could get free. Yeah, actually no, this one could get free. Okay, maybe I take everything back. So Trouble the Titan's actually in a decent position to go for it, especially now that Goblin has moved. Oh yeah, and Max Howler is gonna get fouled all the way to hell. Oh, yep, there we go. Max Howler is... I'll actually just wait to see if the regen kicks in before I write them out entirely. Yes, it does. Okay. Oh, and that actually did end up costing... Who was that player? That was... Smurnik? Simnik. Okay. Gosh, there's been a lot of fouls this game. Fortunately, that's a pretty cheap player. But it does put down the Necromantic team to only 640 team value on the field. And removes any real possibility of them getting the ball back. Actually. Okay, so we've got 2 dice here. We can run our Flesh Golem in while marking out some of the other players to get a... Probably getting... Oh, wait. I misunderstood. It's Mizra's turn. Oh, jeez. So Mizra's been... If Mizra's been known for anything in particular, it's been scoring an inordinate amount of touchdowns. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon, to be honest. It's always a very, very tempting thing when you've got a team with very high movement players to do something like Mystic just did, which is running them out by themselves because they can more or less score easily. As it was, they were basically just put into... You know, you kind of gone from a likely takedown to a certain takedown. Well, certain barring a few unfortunate going for it rolls. So plus strength comes in, going to go after Trevor. We'll use the block to put him down, but of course the Flesh Golem's one of the few things in this world that can be relied upon. And we'll see a knockdown on the white as well. So most of the Necromantic team are getting just beaten up pretty nastily here. Yeah, the Underworld team, they recover themselves, and even without their troll, they're doing pretty well. So 3 players off for Mizra, 4 players off for Mystic, and we've got a clean run down the pitch for Cutter, who's going to put themselves pretty close to that 2nd level up, in which they could get Claw, they could get Guard, you can do all manner of terrifying things with that Blitzer. Alright, so with 1 werewolf KO'd and 1 werewolf bat in the reserves, I think this half is pretty much a wash. Oh, there we go. Gimfen getting KO'd. Nice, nice. Oh, and a going for it failing. A little bit unfortunate for Sir Charles the Curse, but hey, I guess you miss all the chances you don't take. So we were up to 3 KOs for Mizra. Let's see. Oh gosh, you gotta love this very long movement on the blitzers. It doesn't get to usually utilize it to its full strength because of being in the scrum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gosh, doesn't even need to worry about going for it on the final turn. The only unfortunate thing here for Mizra is because they're going to be scoring on their turn 8 while it is the opponent's drive, which is obviously, you know, nothing to really complain about. It will mean that there's only going to be 1 turn of KO recoveries. So there's a decent chance that Mizra's team remains out of commission in some serious fashion. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see a foul there. I think maybe Mizra's recognizing that maybe they're running a little bit low on players. So over to the Maniacs. Let's see what they've got for us. I imagine it's just going to be a blitz onto a Goblin would make the most sense, with the most chance of successfully mauling them. I wouldn't have minded at all seeing Sir Ryan and Rotted to be the one to do that, because they've got a much better chance of actually succeeding. Instead, it is Frankie. He's got no SPP so far. We'll just give the Goblin a loving little tap on the nose, send him on their way. As Mizra will be able to just walk in the ball. I'm assuming this is going to happen straight away. Unless they're feeling particularly spicy. Which I guess they might be. Yep, they are. That's a block onto Brittle Barry. Apparently Mizra are not a fan of the fouling opportunities afforded to Mystic. There we go. So at the end of the first half, the Underratted team, this is one of the less high-scoring games we've seen from them so far. So credit for Mystic in that regard, but it's seemingly like the Undead or Underworld team managing to hold up the Necromantic team pretty darn well, about a third of the way into the Underratted half. I think Mystic getting a little bit fidgety, flinging out their werewolf, who will come back. So that's going to be Rabid Ronnie, the werewolf, coming back into circulation. Alright, that's a pretty big jump up in TV. I'll try and catch anyone else. I should have looked at them all before I came back on, I suppose. Oh, that's right. And both werewolves are back in, so that's not too bad. Alright, let's check around while they do the setup here. So Flapstench remains KO'd, but all of the other KOs are fine. Let's add them back on. So we're up to 1,000 TV for the Underratted squad, which is not too shabby. And Nasha the Ghoul should be coming back out as well. So that puts up to 950. So we're actually pretty even coming into the second half. I think not having the Troll here is going to maybe be problematic for Mizra, since they can't match up to the Necromantic team blow for blow. I think they could have some real trouble actually getting their scoring here, because they're not like a normal Skaven team where you get the chance to, you know, shenanigans around the place with a, you know, fast moving player. It's really going to be down to either linemen, goblins, or the actual blitzers themselves. You definitely don't want to be your ball carriers to carry the ball up. Oh no, what am I talking about? The throwers. Of course the throwers are going to be the ones to do it. They've also got movement 7, which is crazy for a thrower, especially when you compare it to a orc thrower or something of its ilk. Let's see. So we've got a strong central line here for the Necromantic team as the kick goes a little... Oh, that's one of the throwers, I think. Yes, it is. Alright, well, that was a short stay on the pitch. Alright, Thay, you're out of here. That's a decent amount of value gone. Yeah, that is a lot. Oh, and it was a touchback. Yeah, that kick did look very wonky. So it could easily still end up on the other Skaven thrower, which is, I guess, one of the reasons for having two of them. Also the fact that they are pretty good ball carrier. And they also get blocked quite easily. Still though, armor 7. Whew. You go up against a team that's got block and mighty blow and whatnot, you're going to have a very short stay. Alright. So what have we got going on? Mighty blow onto Rabid Ronnie. Doesn't really get him anywhere. I'm pretty surprised though that the werewolves were put out on the wings of this defensive formation. Hey Oliver, how's it going? Yeah Ollie, I'm not playing, I'm casting a game of the Drunk Mystic up against Mizra. This is part of the same division I'm playing in the Reddit Eternal Blood Bowl League. But these guys they're playing live right now. And I've already played against Mystic, and I managed to win that game. I've not played against Mizra, who is as yet undefeated in every single game they've played so far. So what have we got? Mizra with the ball at the back of the pitch. Again, the problem for the Underworld team here is missing their troll. And, I mean, missing the throw is not that big of a deal. They can't really deal with the flesh golems. In fact, I doubt we'll see them even try. With stand firm, those flesh golems will not move very easily. So even if you do successfully knock them over, it's very hard to make any real progress against them. I'm sure they'd love to get some free SCP, so I expect to see dodges away from the goblins, there we go, to avoid that happening. And yeah, just a end of turn. Oh, you're replying to yourself. I don't know what the narrate faster, harder, stronger thing is about, but I'm into it. So, alright, it's over to the Drunk Mystic and the Mausoleum Maniacs. So they've got their 2 werewolves, they've got their 2 whites, those are the hard-hitting cannons of the squad. The Underworld, as we can see, are trying to build up a kind of an envelopment of the team, which is pretty tough to do. So nice movement there from Frankie Flesh Ripper, getting into base-to-base contact with those 2 goblins. They're going to force us some dodges. Maybe we'll see the same thing on this side as well. More or less, except without the double block. So we could see... Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Alright, so finally we're going to see a werewolf go after Goblin and successfully whack him. Odd Guts is going to be KO'd. So down to 8 active players for the under-ratted team. Still, not too much of a drop in team value. A little bit disappointing perhaps for Mystic, who was hoping to get an injury there and thus some injury SPP. But still, it's one less goblin out in the wild. And they are one of the big question marks when it comes to any team because of how unpredictably strong they can be. Alright. So, looks like the one remaining ghoul, Nasha, is going to be protected by several of their big brothers. As I'm not totally convinced about this for the... There we go, okay. So we're going to see more basing here. I think Cutter's likely to be the one going for... You can see a dodge away here and then a mighty blow hit onto the werewolf. I'm not so sure though. I think this flank is a lot weaker. We've got, we've basically got the same things on each flank, except there's just one less unit over here. Actually, I'd say that it's a lot weaker. In fact, it's pretty much the same, isn't it? We've got a white, we've got a werewolf. A ghoul is not going to be a massive offensive entity, so maybe you do just go and hit Rabid Ronnie. I mean, the werewolves are a lot easier targets. I think Mizra wasted 2 turns so far in the first half trying to hit whites, who've got block much as their blitzers also have block. Both of them negating each other and making it fairly unlikely they'll knock each other over, at least compared to a lot of the other results. Whereas the werewolf with no block is a most convincing target indeed. There we go. So the strength 4 Skaven Blitzer moving up. Very nice, very nice. I imagine we'll see the Mighty Blow used to maximise the chances of seeing Rabid running off the pitch. And it seems to be that the Underworld team are looking to set up in this kind of area, which is not terribly secure. Because we've got a couple, we've got a whole bunch of marked players here. I guess you could jump away, but you're probably going to see this blitz here, and then the goblins going away to form a rudimentary cage, or a screen, I guess is a better way of putting it. Alright, so Rabid Ronnie survives the experience. Might see a reroll here. This because Mizra is not... In the previous half, they've been very... they held on to, I think, 2 rerolls till the end from their starting 3. No, that's very restrained. So it means Rabid Ronnie is now next to the most valuable player on the Underratted squad, the Strength 4 Blitzer. And with a couple of assists coming in, won't be able to make a 2 dice, but can at least make a 1 dice block in an attempt to take off a significant player. There's the dodging goblins getting away to form the scream. If if this goblin fails to dodge, that leaves a completely open path to the ball carrier, which is not what I would have expected to have happen. Okay, so there's a dodge away over on that side from Whatnot to the goblin. I think very sensible to get away from so round and rotted, almost certain to get knocked over otherwise. I'm not sure about this though. I mean, okay, so that's a going for it. That does make it harder for the... Well, wait, yeah, that's just going to be a... If you get hit there, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think it's possible to get a werewolf onto the ball carrier immediately, but this is a lot less of a strong defense than I would have expected. So you can send the ghoul... You can send the... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, 2 go for it. Not great. You could blitz here, and if you got the knockdown, run up to the ball carrier, but that's not great either. This is, yeah, this is probably going to be the first block. Okay. So from here, you're at least able to move up and start pressuring the ball carrier, but this gentleman here, Kribel Snarl with Wrestle, really makes that quite difficult to do. And if you do send a lot of people up this way, then when the ball inevitably moves down this way the following turn, then all your people are suddenly out of position. So I think maybe you just give up on that this turn and instead try and take out this Skaven Blitzer if you can. I think if you send your... if you send Sir Charles around here to negate the assists, use the assist yourself from Nasha the Ghoul, you can at least get 1 dice, which is not great, but if you block away this gentleman here, then maybe you get away with it. I don't know. It's not great. Okay, so we're going to be seeing some basing there, which is, I guess, okay. 1 dice block. Oh, wait, that definitely wasn't a 1 dice block. What am I talking about? Alright, so the attempt on that, we will be seeing... Oh, hello. That's a bit weird. But, okay. Well, I mean, the ball's just going to move as far away as possible, but I suppose this does mean that the Underworld team now have to try and defend from the top as well as from the side. So actually, yeah, fair enough. Mystic. That's one of the advantages, of course, of having a ludicrously high movement player, is that you can really zoom around the pitch and find angles that the person now has got to find an answer for, whereas before they did not. So what are the Underworld team going to do on their turn? My question. As we have yet to see a blitz. This is the most obvious kind of power part for Mizra right now. As okay, interesting. Okay, well that means we're down to just... Oof. That is a strength 4 Blitzer, everybody. And that's not a player you mess around with lightly. So, Mystic playing with fire there, getting burnt, which now means that there's a pretty good opening on this right-hand flank for the underrated team. Underrated team, I do apologise. To push through. I think we could easily see a crowd surf. Let's see, push to there. Push to there. Maybe not actually. It's a bit awkward. But either way around it, I think this white's going down. This ghoul's probably going down as well. I'd imagine that the werewolf's probably going to get marked by someone to stop them from just following down the back of the Underworld line. But this is a little bit awkward for Mizra here. They've definitely got the advantage ever since Rabid Ronnie took themselves out of the equation. Because you've kind of got almost a flesh golem here. This is a strengthful player, this is a strengthful player. So very, very hard to get around or deal with. I think he's doing a very nice job for the Underworld team of sort of anchoring one of their lines of offense. Because I don't think the Underworld team is ever going to be able to directly deal with Paznich. So 2 dice. Yep, there we go. So Charles the Curse is going to hit the dirt. So I think we probably see a Mighty Blow blitz onto Nasha, because that's going to hurt like crazy. And it does mean that this whole side of the pitch is somewhat open, though Sir Charles not being injured or KO'd is not ideal. We could see a Don Pumi on the LOS. Fouling potentially. There's the reroll used to make sure that Nasha goes down. And it's going to be at least a stun. Just a stun this time. Okay. This is awkward. So for Mizra, they've got the ever-growing presence of Max Howler just behind them, the werewolf. So they need to make their way down this side. They can get... Yeah, they can get to, like, here? This isn't great, though. Because the werewolf is only one space behind them, so they can basically catch up with wherever the thrower goes. I think we're going to need to see these goblins used, because they have got dodge. So the goblins, I imagine, will get used to... Oh, hello, we're going to see a pass. Really? Oh, it's a handoff. Okay. Ah! Oh, gosh. So Cutter's going to probably score and get a level up as well. Brilliant. Okay, so that moves the ball out of being directly threatened. Cutter feeling pretty good about their chances of getting the ball in. What do you do if you are our good friend, the Drunk Mystic? Probably concede a goal again. Oh, excuse me. That's a thing I didn't realise would make sound. There we go. Right, so what else have we got going on here? So in... Okay, yeah, we're going to be seeing a foul, aren't we? Or at least the... Jeez, there really isn't very many ways to access that ball carrier anymore. Let's see, so dodge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not great. So the only way you could possibly get on the ball carrier is to blitz here. So you could, I think you could legitimately move your flesh golem in here, then make a 1-dice blitz onto Creek, and then end up next to the ball carrier. That's something. It's straightforward. And then you can always bring in a werewolf as well. Which is, again, not great, but you're running out of options here to have any chance of even getting any SPP on the team that's desperately been after it. Whew. I don't think so far the Maniacs have had a chance to score even once this whole season so far, and we're in week number 4, so that's 4 matches played. And that's really keeping them from getting anywhere. No more coffee for me. I have to make do with just tears of sadness instead. I'm just going to check around on my various different things, getting tagged in a few different places. I don't know if it's got anything to do with this. Nope. Oh, but I did find a picture of a cute puppy. Alright. So we'll be seeing the flesh golem coming in. It looks like we're aiming for... What's the beast for? It's not a 3-dice block. Oh, wait. Nimble Nobby? There's been a zombie back here the whole time. I didn't even notice. I wonder if Mystic didn't even notice as well. Alright, well, the camera having moved down this far suggests that maybe Nobby will actually get used for something. In this case, which could just be moving them over to be a little bit more in the way of the ball. No? Oh, no way, they just... Sorry, I thought they'd ended their turn, but I think they just... But Mystic just deselected. Okay. So we've got the standing up Sir Charles the Cursed, who's very likely going to get knocked off the pitch. Okay. I think Mystic is trying to put some pressure onto Mizra to try and score right now, which, I mean, I would imagine Mizra might well be obliging once they've gotten rid of Sir Charles the Curse, of course. Because that will secure them the game. And Mystic really in a position where they're looking more just for their team development being, I think, 0-3 at this point, and looking like it's going to head towards 0-4. Not really any danger of graduating from this opening group to the main division, which is, as we've discussed many times previously, not necessarily the greatest surprises for winning. As, whoops, Slippy Divvy. It's going to be a reroll burned. In fact, Mystic's only reroll has been burned down to, officially, 0. I think I would have let that werewolf hit the dirt. They weren't even doing anything that useful. So we've got 2 going for it for Mizra to score on the next turn. I suppose they could hand off to a goblin and do that, but I think that animosity would actually... Yeah, that would actually cause animosity to kick in. Animosity, for any of you guys who are unaware, is when you've got mixed teams like this one, kind of an official mixed team. There are sort of more goofy mixed race teams in the game. Then you can... they tend to have animosity, which means if they try and give the ball to someone else, like a goblin to a Skaven or vice versa. I think actually, weirdly enough, no, the goblins do have animosity. Then you have to roll a dice, and if you roll a 1, they refuse to do it, which is not great. I'm not quite sure how it would work with a move. But we're over to Mizra. We'll see if they've been kindly invited by the Drunk Mystic to try and score as swiftly as possible. And let's see if they are obliging enough to do so. So Nimble Nobby did end up getting used. I mean, I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference, really. It does mean there's a little bit more threat on the ball if this going for it doesn't go right. We've got reroll here for Mizra, so their chances of scoring are pretty good. Alright, so that's Charles. Bonked out of the way. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't a hit there and hit off the pitch. But I guess it would have relied on a little bit of dodging. Okay. Oh, I see. So this is purely for the point of trying to get another hit onto werewolves. People really hate werewolves. And I mean, I can kind of understand that they are a ludicrously good player, but without block, without dodge, you've seen they have not been terrifically effective. It's a difficult position because without block, the werewolves are not good at hitting goblins because of they can only get 1 dice result that works, and they're not good at hitting the Skaven because of them having strength 3, and it's kind of hard a lot of the times to get an assist to allow for a 2 dice block. So the werewolves kind of caught in an awkward position where the overall positioning of Mystic's team isn't really allowing them to get the most mileage out of their skills, when on paper the Necromantic team should be a lot better at punching, with much higher armor values and a few useful skills. Even with the extra block Mizra's team's got, I think they should still be kind of having more trouble. There we go, there's going to be the run towards the end. It looks like Mizra's going to trust in the screen they've got there to hold up. Oh, hello, maybe not. Go for it once. Will we see a second going for it? I don't think that's even necessary. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. There could be a werewolf run for the ball carrier. It does require some quite specific circumstances to be true. Alright. I'm going to go for a little bit of white slapping. Nothing too serious. Let's see, so if you push this guy away, you can make a clean dodge out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you could go for a... I think you go for a blitzer. That's not terrible. You've got a reroll, so it's probably not going to work. But might as well give it a try. And it involves doing the thing which you're probably going to do anyway. Alright, there's a dodge. Oh, there we go. I'm not sure about that. That may have actually specifically got in the way of Max Howler. We do also still have a nimble Nobby over here who's a little bit less nimble than advertised, as we have got Whatmut getting slapped by... Ooh. No follow-up on that blitz, on that block. And no armor break either. Then I guess Max Howler is not going to be going out for a... What? Ah? That was weird. Alright, well, I guess Mizra doesn't really have too much incentive to score at this point. I mean, it does cement a victory, but it does then put their entire team at risk of getting slaughtered. Eventually, the Necromantic team's got to get some dice which will let them do so. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Ooh, Max Howler going down for, I think, the second time this game. Badly hurt. And this time, they ain't coming back. I mean, honestly, if you are a Necromantic coach, you're thanking your lucky stars anytime your werewolves get successfully badly hurt off the pitch. They haven't been actually killed. As we saw, already, that's a distinct possibility. I don't know if Mizra's going to... I think maybe they are. Maybe they are just going to wait it out till the end of the game. Mizra has scored an absolute ton before, and I tended to assume that meant that they would be willing to score early, even if it was maybe to their detriment, because there's a decent chance that the troll comes back. Well, I say a decent chance, half a chance, and they've got a fair amount of KO'd players. Whereas for the Underworld team, they're mostly sent off or badly hurt. So there we go. So there's the score for the Underratted. So Cutter will be getting a level up as a result of this game. I am terrified to see what they're going to turn into. Something even more horrifying than before, most likely. So probably Claw or Mighty Blow. One of the two. There comes back the Trolls. So that's a big amount of TV back on the field. 110 for Flap Stench and the other player as well. So we're only left with Ardguts and Simnick off the field. So that's Grimfen coming back on. Okay. So Ardguts is KO'd. Okay, let's see how much I've got confused about the team value. So up to 1070 for the Underratted, and with 4 players out, the Maniac's down to 830. So there's a decent chance of seeing this one turn into another 3-0, maybe even 4-0. I think that might be a bit much. Realmhard, it will probably claw low tackle, maybe, depending on how elfy your division is. The division is not terribly elfy. There's a lot of targets which will be very, very good for a Mighty Blow Claw player. There's a lot. There's orcs, there's dwarves. So I think it's likely to be Claw, and then probably Guard after that. Or maybe piling on. Alright, ball going up in the air. It's going to be a blitz for the Underratted team. And oh boy, that ball is landing in maybe a bit of an awkward position there, because we don't know at this point if it's going to actually bounce out of the pitch. Still, the Skaven have got a chance to run down the sides and at least get themselves into a position where it's a realistic possibility they could score for a third time. But yeah, Rahab, how's stuff going with you? Yeah, the plus strength guy going guard would make a lot of sense. I think maybe they get Mighty Blow first, just to keep them leveling up. But yeah, guard seems like a pretty solid choice for them. A Flap Stench, I think, has got 1 injury cause so far, so if they get MVP, then I imagine Mizra is going to be extremely pleased. Alright. So not blitzing with the Mighty Blow player. I think maybe they ran out of movement. Not quite. Oh, Reinhard, I'm glad stuff is going well for you. Yeah, things are going alright. I've kind of overloaded today a little bit. I was practicing doing some interviewing for a org which I've been working with for some League of Legends stuff, and that's kind of interesting. I've not done a ton of interviewing. Well, Gimfen being used as ammunition there before the blitz was even done, so that's going to be a... Is that actually a turnover? No, it's not. Brilliant. Okay, so I mean we can, we can do one piece blitzes with the strength 4 player, though it's a little bit of a stretch. You've still got the reroll. I probably think he's going to run up as well and maybe get down towards here. This does actually, as much as blitzes are normally pretty terrible news for a team, I think this might work out alright for Mystic, because it has led to the Underworld team extending themselves pretty far forward. And also failing to going for it is probably not going to help things either. Ooh, and that's going to be double ones. Thus, the Underworld team is going to leave a pretty big space open as the ball goes off of the pitch and presumably into the hands of the werewolf, Rabid Ronnie. No, it's going to be... It's going to be going into the league's only passing zombie. It's a Brittle Barry. I mean, Mystic, I give you credit for your commitment to the bit. But that's extremely silly. You had a chance to get some actual SVP where they needed to be, and then you chose to meme it up. Admittedly, Brittle Barry has successfully passed quite a few times before. I think. Well, I say successfully passed once. And actually, no, I guess successfully passed twice is maybe a bit more accurate. Because they did manage to pass and then twice successfully, but only one time was it successfully received. Yeah, Ramhard, I don't know what the idea is there. That was a really easy chance to get a hit in, to get a score in with the Wolf. I don't know if Mizra even really stops you at this point, because they've obviously definitely won. Though I think REBBL has rules about... I know it has rules about kind of intentionally conceding. I don't know how they feel specifically about people sort of letting other people score when it doesn't matter. Probably look dimly up on that as well. But yeah, I don't know. So either Brittle Barry hands off to the werewolf, making that a bit of a waste of time, or passes to them for the memes. But he's going to pass them for the memes. Holy moly! Oh, interesting. You can save your players by letting them score. Happens a lot in the Div 1 games with all the chaos. Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. Because I'm not sure, it wasn't super clear. I should really go and ask an admin about the sort of like soft concession rules, because it wasn't actually explained in the rules what the soft concession was. Explicitly, at least. I think it presumably means sort of throwing the game on purpose, but whether or not just not standing your players up again is considered to be throwing the game on purpose, I'm not totally clear. Because, I mean, certainly in a lot of leagues I've been in, when I'm playing a team that's getting clobbered, I just don't get back up again, because I'm just going to get hit again. So I don't know, I'll have to investigate that. Alright, so there's 3 turns left for Mystic to score in. They've got a player with a ridiculous amount of movement, and they've got the world's passingest zombie. So that's 2 successful passes from Brittle Barry. Never just let your memes be dreams. I think Mizra is out to get a 3rd score here for 100%. I think it's very likely Nasher's going to get clobbered. Not by the mighty Blow player. Okay, that's surprising. Are we going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? You going to see him run round the outside to hit the ball carrier for 1 dice? Seems a bit weird. I mean, if you had a reroll, sure. That just seems odd. I mean, sure, you get a hit on the ball carrier, but... yeah. You haven't got a reroll. That just seems a bit weird. So you can see if it's a legal one if you have less than 3 players on the pitch. You can also just not pick up your pieces being mullered. It's good to be in England where people say mullered. Oh, England? This is Britain. I don't know how far Mother gets spread. You can't fix games. Okay, so I figured that makes sense. So you can't sort of make arrangements with your opponents to sort of give goals across. That makes sense. I'm glad that you can at least keep your players on the ground, though. I don't know. I guess it depends on the opposing coach as to how willing they be to foul you at that point. I guess. Okay, well, cutter. It's going to get passed around. Interesting, there's no follow-up on that block there, because that now means that the Rabid Ronnie can't get away very easily, but I suppose they're probably just going to blitz out of the situation anyway. You always foul them more, Ramhard did that. Oh, fair enough. I mean, you can only foul once per turn, whereas if I got my players up, I would be getting hit on all of them, so... It's a tricky situation. Alright, so a stun opens up. I don't know why you wouldn't go for it with Rabid Ronnie there, but since you've got the same chances. I suppose you don't give up the ball if that goes badly, but you probably give up the ball from being hit anyway. I don't know. Alright, so Ronnie's going to try and has got 3 turns to leg it up the pitch. There's a very good chance that Flap Stench gets activated next time because they'll probably be getting a Goblin Buddy to come along and help them out. So if you run up that side, everywhere is pretty much covered. We don't really have too many in the way of spare players to cover you. Probably move up here. Get a 2 dice block. And then I presume we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And just hope that the troll really stupid, otherwise your werewolf is probably going to get clubbered. Alright, so I'm waiting to see what Mystic does. Taking a long time to think about it. Okay, well, it's... With no rerolls, there's a possibility this doesn't turn into a 3-0, but I think it's pretty darn likely. Let's see, so Thieves able to go up and grab hold of the ball and start making their way back down again. It's going to be a 2 dice block on Sir Charles the Cursed. This is a little awkward here. Ooh, that's a bit unfortunate. Does this open up the door for... the Underworld to get the team... Oh, sorry, the Necromantic team to get the ball back in? I think it's fairly unlikely. Oh, there we go. Fitform Cutter. Gets safely KO'd off of the pitch. Lovely does it. unsuccessful block. So what do we see here? We can dodge away with Nasha. And... not sure. I think if Sir Ryan goes up here, that she blitz away one of the goblins, and then you could go grab the ball with the ghoul and try and run up, I suppose? Not any great options, but I suppose that's true for either of the players, though of course having short hands is going to make that a lot easier down the line. We've got another thrower here who can come in and potentially... Okay. Ugh. Well, them's the breaks, I suppose. It wasn't terrifically unlikely when you're going up. I would have really gone after the goblin myself, but... I suspect... Mystic with some choice words for their chances there. So what can we see here? We could see a pick up and pass to Creek, who could get it in. So probably we see the 2 dice block there. We see a blitz here, and then the pass, pick up pass. I wouldn't be relying on the troll to do anything, nor these guys do anything either. But that seems pretty straightforward. And you are relying on some slightly iffy dice rolls, but worst that's going to happen is that you don't score. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you could... Actually, yeah, you're right. It would be better to pass the strength 4. For some reason, I think I had it in my mind that throwers are better catchers, but absolutely not the case. I think the strength 4 blitzer might actually be the only player who's free to make this hit, though. So I think that's why you would do it this way. So, grab that, run down, throw it across. Yeah, I don't think there's any other way of getting rid of that marking player, unless you use the strength 4 blitzer. It would be nice to score on them, for sure. But I think it's fine to have it on the throw as well. Yep, really stupid is not going to be obliging. The other thrower could have blitzed. Yeah, they could have actually. You're right. With everyone having movement 7, there's not really a concern about... Oh boy. Alright, well never mind. There we go. That's the end of the Underworld game because of 2 failed sure hands pickups in a row. The Maniacs make it through with, I think, let's say sent-off player, not causing any casualties at all against a team that I really feel like should be getting injured, but somehow we're not. So, I don't know. Alright, so we get to finish things out with just a little bit of light slappening. Ooh! Less light than I expected, and that's going to be a free zombie for the Necromantic team. I'm kind of curious. Yeah, there we go. Not going to be Apothecary, going to let be raised dead instead. Well, that's a nice gift from Mizra to the Mausoleum Maniacs, so joining a new team now. Yes, I don't. For some reason, I can't select them. Alright, never mind. It's one of the Skaven teams who've now... There we go, Striamute Squeek, who have managed to change species. since they were killed, which is quite an interesting thing to have happen. As Goblin gets pushed to the side of the pitch. And oh boy, Mystic cannot buy SPP for money. Eesh. So Barry scored and passed? No. Wait, how did Barry get that? Oh, they must have inflicted an injury as well. Oh, wait. When did that happen? Oh, it was the death. Brilliant. Fortunately, finally, the Maniacs get an MVP where it needs to be. So Ronnie, the werewolf, is going to level up. And Underratted finally get an MVP where it doesn't need to be, because so far it's been mostly on the players it needs to. Still though, that's going to end up with Cutter leveling up to level 3. I can't quite remember. I think Gimfen's a Goblin. Yes, that's one from the screen. Patches, I can't remember who they are. Bristleberry, the Zombie, and Rabid Ronnie being the werewolf. So, while Mausoleum Maniacs didn't really get what they wanted, no, still haven't managed to score so far this season. They do at least get a level up on an extremely important player, so that's something. Alright guys, so yeah, Ramhard, thank you for your insights. I'm gonna have to head off though, because I've got another game at around 9 o'clock for a different league. So, congratulations to Mizra, keeping on that winning streak and setting themselves up as potentially one of the top teams for the whole division. Certainly are right now. But yeah, cheers Ramhard, have a good one. Hopefully catch you back here for another thing. I think we'll see if any more Rebel stuff comes up. Maybe on Monday? Maybe. See what happens. I think there's going to be another 5M Division game played then, but not necessarily. I don't know if I'm 100% going to be free then. We'll see. But yes, cheers guys, have a lovely evening, and I'll catch you all